Hello, today we're going to continue looking at the hardware and processing part of our rubric, and we're continuing with knowing that there's a range of operating systems and application software. We talked a little bit about the apps and software for word processing last time out, and that's what we're going to build on again today. So you looked at alternatives for word processors other than Word and some of the reasons behind them. So you did a bit of research and you'd have found out that there are lots and lots of alternatives to Word, and there are lots of reasons why there are alternatives. Some are cheaper, some are even free. We found that some had got features the same as Word, some had got features that Word doesn't have, some work on different operating systems. So there's lots of reasons why you might not be using Word. So here's something that we looked at last time. Here's some of the examples of the word processors. So Kingsoft Writer, OpenOffice, that we went into a bit of detail. AbiWord, Jarty. So lots and lots of, and those are just the ones on Windows operating system. That doesn't look at any of the ones that are on different operating systems like Apple or Android. Now, lots of them are trying to stand out in what is clearly a competitive market. There's lots to choose from, and some of them are trying to stand out and be the one that everyone uses, that everyone downloads and uses on a day-to-day basis. So for example, we looked at OpenOffice and we saw that it had predictive text. So a bit like when your text message on your phone, it would predict what you were trying to write and it would help you write it for you. So that was a feature that we thought, oh, that's really good. Word doesn't have that, interestingly. So is that something that might make you think, oh, I'll use OpenOffice instead? Lots of features are also shared between them. So spell checker is a pretty common feature and you'd expect to find it in all the different word processors. You'd expect the basic functions like be able to save and load. So it's thinking about these different functions is what I want to really think about today. I want you to drill down on today in terms of what would be your perfect word processor. So if you could design one, what would it include? What would it look like? How would it be different? What feature do you think, no one's thought of this, we need to include this feature in a word processor? So you're going to design your own word processor today. So your first job is going to be to think about, right, what is the new thing that I'm going to bring to the table? What are the features that I've got to have? What are the features that I want to steal, I want to magpie, I want to borrow from Word or any of the ones that you research? And then what's that extra killer feature that you're going to have that's going to make your word processor the best? What is it that you wish a word processor could do? And we can think big on this because we haven't got to do the programming, we've just got to come up with the ideas. So you can see here we've got a template that I've made that's going to help you design your word processor. So you've got the top section here, which is sort of your menus. So if you look back at a Word, or this one's Google Docs, you've got your menu at the top and then you've got your little icons that do various things. Again, we can look at Word, menus, icons that do various things. So that's what this space is. So your menu across the top, and then this is the space for your icons. The page we know is going to look like a page. So we're not worried about designing that section. What I'm interested in is actually what your menus are, so what menus you're going to include and what icons are you going to have. And you can redesign the icon. So if you think, actually the save button, why is it a disk? Why is it a floppy disk? No one's used a floppy disk for about 15 years. Why would it be that? Let's change it, let's update it. So you might want to change what some of the logos are. Okay, so it's really about your ideas and your creativity based on your research. So you might want to have a look back at some of the features from our Word alternatives. You might want to just have a think about what you've tried to do on Word and then not been able to because it didn't have those features. So really use the resources you've got to help develop your own idea. So we're continuing to look at the idea that there's multiple programs for the same purpose. That's our LI. And then our bronze is to include essential features like save and open. So we've got to be able to do the basic stuff. You've got to set out your font tools as your silver. So think about how are they controlling the size and style of their font. It's bold, color, italics, all those sort of things. Gold is to add your own unique features. So think of a feature for your word processor that's going to make it stand out. And the challenge is to create a name and logo for your word processor that's going to grab the attention and mean that I'm going to investigate and maybe even download your word processor. Your vocab is hardware, which remember is the things that make up the computer, the solid components. the physical parts of the computer, the stuff that you can pick up and throw out of a window. Software, the apps and programs of your computer. So this word processor that you're designing is software. Word processor is a program or an app that allows you to, or helps you to write things like books, letters, anything where you're going to be including lots of text. That's where you can use a word processor. And as we've said, programs is another word for apps. So, best of luck. Be creative. Don't worry about whether you think it's possible or not. I want some exciting new ideas, because who knows, we might come up with something, you might come up with something that is the next step in word processors. Best of luck.